Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it is that time again. Welcome. Hope we are all doing well on this wonderful Thursday. Running some beautiful gold buys at the minute. Hope you guys are also maybe in some gold buys. Without further ado, let's get this show on the road. As always, good morning, good afternoon, and a very good evening, no matter where we are around the world. So yeah, running some gold buys up 20 pips in profit at the minute. Did call it out in my members group. Did even mention it at on the YouTube chat before anyone popped in. I was looking at gold buys, and it is flying at the minute. Absolutely flying. 25 pip profit. So looking good. It's tapping into a 4-hour resistance though shortly, so that's where I'm likely going to wrap up the majority of the position. Gonna close another partial at 22 just there and let the rest run to probably that 4-hour resistance just there and see if it gets there. But nice early start here today on gold. Guys, you guys know the drill. Without further ado, don't forget to smash that like button, and TikTok also, you guys hit that screen for me. Let's get the masses onto the stream. That probably gives away the most free education on the daily, along with some quality entries. So guys, let's have a good stream. Let's quickly have a look at the news. Let's just get rid of that, so safely in profits on some gold buys in a minute, and let's see what we've got moving forward here today. Big day ahead. Obviously we do have NFP. ADP was yesterday. How did the figures come out? That will be the interesting thing. I not even looked at it. Wow, big negative. Wow. All right, it's not they're well off. Month for month they're well off when it comes to predicting that particular figure there. So is it a precursor to NFP? That remains to be seen. Wow, gold is pumping. Big day though nonetheless, so it could be a little bit tricky in between. Being a nice move just now though, and we'll see what we can come up with moving forward, but definitely be wary of it, NFP to come moving forward today. So guys, don't forget to smash that like button, hit the screen for us, and let's get cracking with the analysis and have a look at the beast that is the gold. And we are starting the weekly time frame here, and what we can see is we are forming a very strong bullish candle here on the weekly. So off the back of that, what I'm likely going to be looking for is levels within this candle price could potentially pull back to, form a support at, to head back up and potentially create the higher high. And those levels also become potential entry points for maybe some sells if price was to begin to pop below those minor time frame levels. Onto the daily here, and we can see we are again bullish in counter probabilities just now on the daily. Structurally we are also bullish. We've not quite but almost tapped into the resistance here in the daily potential rejection zone. I've got 50 pips running here on gold, and may in fact close. No, I'm gonna keep it open. All right, 4-hour. So we've tapped into the resistance. All right, we've tapped into that level. That was going to be my target. We are technically bullish in the structure in a 4-hour. We begin to pop above that previous 4-hour candle's high. We do have again clean traffic to the left. So if we pop above the current daily / 4-hour resistance high, then I believe we may have some opportunities to take a buy up towards that 33.85 sort of region. So off the back of that, without even really needing to look at the minor time frames, could look for the buys above that point there. As far as support, we will be confirming some support in the next 5 minutes, so we'll draw it in just here, and we'll make our way down to, we'll go to the 15-minute time frame now and see what we've got here on the 15. Just adjust these zones. So as we can see, we're pushing 62 pips in profit at the minute. Now let's just adjust it to the actual 15-minute zone here. So for me on gold, well, if you're not currently running a buy, then you're a little too late to the party. So what I probably prefer to see at the minute is, prior to any buys above, have we got clean traffic? There's definitely clean traffic. Prior to any buys above, what I want to see is price triggering some sellers. Seeing we've come from pretty much the lows of the day here. want to price to make a clean move up, trigger in some sellers, create a bit of a pullback, then begin to pop above the resistance here at 33.65, 70. But was to look for some sort of continuation buys above that resistance. So hopefully that makes sense. Otherwise, it's going to be tough selling it as well at the minute, because it is moving with a lot of momentum to the upside. So what I would be waiting for in regards to the sells is price tap in, form some support below the resistance, and I want to see some micro structure flipping bearish. Seeing we are making a clean move up, we previously made it clean move down. We do form that support and begin to pop below it, there's a good chance we can make a clean move back down as well. So I've just closed for 56 pips, so I'm happy with that on that gold trade. So that is my opinion of the gold for the time being. So likely it's going to come down to our price, and if it does pop up to that resistance, how we react to it. Otherwise, it's all about the pullback buys. So now we've got levels in between. What I might just do is mark in that there, and that could be a potential point for a pullback where we could look for some support to form and potential buys. We may consider sells below it, but highly unlikely. We just have to see how price approaches, and yeah, we'll see how see how we approach, see if we do have any margin whatsoever below that point there. I don't really feel like we do, to be honest. 18 pips, roughly 16 pips, so not a great deal of margin. So we would be preferencing the buys if it did pull back, and otherwise look for rejection sells from the highs of the 4-hour range. We are rejecting the 4-hour resistance at the minute, or buys above it. Pretty simple analysis there on the gold, and hopefully it did make some sense to you guys. And we can move on, and we'll look at DE40 next, and then onto GJ. So this is the indice of choice for this session. It's the new pair that I'm trying to pick up here. I've still yet to trade it. More focused on the 15 and 5 and the 4-hour here. We're also looking at the daily and the weekly candles, but not so much the 30. We'll look at the hourly and 30 from time to time, but in regards to analysis, those are my chosen time frames, the higher time frames, and then 15 and maybe 5 for the entries. So onto the weekly, forming a bearish counter here. We do have a high low, high to that previous candle though. Structurally, you can see here on the daily, again, not so worried about the structure. Let's not really focus too much on that. We're more concerned by the candles themselves here. What we can see is the previous candle did close back bullish. Current candle has literally tapped into the high. Has it actually broken it? It's just broken the high. So you do have high low, high in the current candle. So we're going to mark in the current candle's high, and we're going to mark in the current candle's low. Seeing we have a high low, high, we'll form support at the low, we'll form resistance at the high. What we're likely going to be doing is looking for buys from either above the resistance or from support, or sells from either at the resistance or below support. So that's something we can look out for. Onto the 4-hour here, you can see we are at some resistance. So let's just mark that in. We'll incorporate the highs of the current daily for the time being. Support well off, so we'll worry about it more so on the minor time frames here. All right, so we'll just adjust this, and that is the highs of the 4-hour resistance. Now we've just previously and recently formed some support on the M15, and below it we can see we've got some pretty clean traffic to potentially target the daily low. So if we continue to respect the daily high, or even if we pop above it only to reject and pop back below, likely what I'd be looking for is some potential sell options below 23,822.9. So roughly 23,823 is where we could look for some potential sells if we continue to reject the daily high. However, we pop above the daily high and tap in, close above it, tap in, and begin to push away from it, we could in fact look for some potential buys as well. So that's likely at this stage what I'm looking at, guys, on DE40. At the minute we're just consolidating, so I want it either above the daily high, got some pretty clean traffic to the left, or below the current daily The support form, sorry, below the resistance at the daily high. That is DE40. Gold still pushing. Onto GJ now, just quickly. Starting at weekly, and we are forming a very strong bearish candle here. Once again, as I've mentioned all throughout the week, we don't necessarily need that upper wick. With every time we've pulled back with respect to previous levels of resistance, moved on to create a lower low within the current weekly, we continue to do so. At this stage, it looks highly unlikely we will create that upper wick on the weekly time frame. So we are strong bearish here, tapping into a level of support though. Let's have a look at it in the daily now. Still room to the downside here in the daily, but we do have bullish structure nonetheless. And as I mentioned last week, I think it was, not that I use trend lines, but if we were to use one here, you can see we're pretty much respecting a trend line all the way up. So we're creating some steady high lows, higher highs within the structure itself. Current daily inside bar candle, just marking a high of the daily and the low of the previous daily, and see what we've got either side of those levels. All right, onto the 4 hour. So that looks like a likely entry point for sales below the current, sorry, below the previous daily candle's low. As far as above the current daily candle's high, we'll see what we've got the M30. The structure itself here in a 4 hour is definitely bearish. Let's move on to the 30. Let's check. So it is the highest point of any bearish candle at resistance. So we've have to use that for the time being. For the resistance, as far as support, we can maybe neaten this up a little bit. All right, so on GJ, we begin to pop above what was the resistance formed towards the end of the previous daily candle. No, the current daily candle size, sorry, early doors into the new daily candle. See, when we have rejected that level, we are approaching a bit of volume. So if we were to pop above that point there, retest it and begin to pull away from it, we could potentially look at some buy options on GJ, bouncing off of 4 hour support as well. Otherwise, guys, still strong bearish here in a big downtrend. So if we did in fact reject this current level and begin to form support below, there could in fact be some opportunities to take a sell back down as well. So that's likely what I would look for. Not all that keen on trading GJ, to be honest, but that is something I would look for. Further sells at this rate, you got some more support here to the left, and it's much cleaner below this point here, which is 195 to 12. So just below 195.20, you could possibly look for some further sell options on GJ. So a little bit below the current daily candle's low. So now we can perhaps adjust this zone a little bit, like so. And that is my opinion of Gold, DE40, and the GJ. Hopefully it makes sense to some of you. And wow, look at this, gold continuing to push. Big move. You can see silver is also following. Wow, look at that. Silver looking like it's ready to continue as well to the upside. Lots of volume here. Wow. Not sure if there's anything going on news related. Let's just quickly check that to see if there is anything that is currently breaking. No, it doesn't appear to be the case, just price action. Alrighty, guys. Franco, good morning to you. Bartman, good morning to you, mate. YouTube. What can I do with you guys? Not liked at all on YouTube. Not sure why. TikTok, Ben, yes, this is definitely live, mate. What have I missed? Let me sift through the chat. Clark, just over 8 years. Nutrition with Walid, thank you for sharing the live, appreciate it. And thank you to the new followers. Yeah, so this is LifeBet. Which website? This is TradingView. Wow, look at gold. Still happy to secure where I did. For news, that's Financial Juice. I use Forex.com to see what's scheduled, but Financial Juice is more up to date with the breaking news and that. So I've got the bots linked to my members group as well. So whenever anything breaks, it will notify my team. It can be a bit annoying though, because it tends to every 5 minutes at certain times a day send a notification of some sort. All good, Ben, no worries. So we're just waiting here now on gold to either pull back or reject. But what a start to a new month it's been, guys. So like I mentioned, when it rains it pours, sometimes we don't get much for a week or so. And then we have weeks where plenty of opportunities present. This month so far, that's 4. So since Tuesday was the start of the new month, 4 wins, and it was a break. Look, it was a tiny loss, but I actually went to exit the trade at break even, but it slipped my break even by a couple pips. So pretty much 4 wins and a break even to begin the new month, which has been a really good start. Ben, I reckon I suppose there's many TikTok live stealing videos. There's many accounts stealing videos, I know that 100%. Because I've seen many fake accounts of my profile as well, which I've blocked, reported, but apparently it's all good. TikTok don't recognize it as a breach of anything, so go figure. Just want to check you're real? Yeah, I am real, my friend. Oh, GA buys. If anyone trades, it looks really, really good if this candle closes above. Strong signal there. German 40 just bouncing between here, so nothing. Yeah, unfortunately, you can't stop the scammers on TikTok. It's impossible. Just don't answer messages from me because they're not me. I will never directly contact you guys. Actually, let me say that again. I'll never initiate contact. So if you guys contact me, I'm more than happy to reply. Even if it's just to say g'day, I'm happy that you guys take time out of your day to say hello. But I never ever initiate contact with anyone. That stream got 150 viewers and dude is scamming. That stream. Was he claiming to trade live? Dr. Pose, if it closes above 33.65, where should we wait for pullback? 33.65. Well, seeing it's come from some, let's just measure this. If it's to come straight and close above from this point, then you're talking $13 moves, so 130 plus pips just to get to that point without any sort of exhaustion. So at that point, I'd be either waiting for price to pull back into the range below, form support, where either we may reject the resistance again and pop below support potentially for sells, or form support back above it. Form support back below, only to close back above, and then we're ready, in my opinion. Let's reset. Otherwise, if we just pop above and remain above, I want it to consolidate for a bit, triggering buyers, triggering sellers, then wait a strong confirmation of a closure above the consolidation. That's when I would consider a buy. Otherwise, I'd just ignore it because it's come from too far back. My members, apologies, I'm not set up a Zoom call yet. Let me do that just now. to trades called before today's stream. Alright, so the link's sent to my guys who are wanting to join the call. Carl? Yeah, going gold buys very early doors from here. Secured the bag in the end at 55 pips, so nice win. I'm assuming you got in on some gold buys as well. Morning from a rainy Norway. Good evening from a sunny winter's day in Melbourne. Actually, quite a nice day for a change. I've still got partials in. Nice one. Yeah, I was trying my best to hold, but happy with the end results. Pretty much where I closed the remaining position at either way just now. So. You know what I've got to do to make it on YouTube? I've got to move to India. That's not a word of a lie. These guys get crazy numbers on their streams. Even the good old dudes who just show a chart and don't even talk. But a lot more than I have. Frustrating. I don't know what to do with YouTube. It's really, really frustrating. Let's have a look at DE40 yet again. Alright, so it's broken above but rejecting just now. This is a beast that we need to be careful with. I'm not so familiar with it. You start looking at it at one point last year, but just stopped, to be honest, because I completely forgot about it more than anything. But I was getting a lot of options just on gold itself, constantly making creating higher highs, new all-time highs. But yeah, the minute that wick is very off-putting. Are we just grabbing liquidity from the upside in order to reject? So as I mentioned before, we really need the closure above that daily high, the resistance. We've just created a new daily high, but once again, I'm not convinced unless we close above, retest and begin to pull away, because we may just be grabbing some liquidity from the upside in order to continue to the downside here. Or we've been trending bullish, but in order to grab liquidity to make a deeper move back into the range below. Nasty candle here on the 15. It's about to close, so there's nothing on DE40. Gold, not keen on selling it after that buy. Not a bad signal on the 5 minute though. If you're after a signal, look at it in the 5 minute, but I'm not taking it. Just took the buy and I'm happy with that. What time you in normally? Nad? So around this time of day. Redman? No, but I can see reason for a gold sell off the 5 minute. You've got rejection, well, of the, it's the 4-hour resistance, not quite the highest of the resistance, but you're at the 4-hour level. You've closed below 5-minute support. But if you are wanting to get involved, I would wait for an upper wick. It is the new 15-minute candle. Doesn't necessarily need one though, off the back of the way the previous one closed. A lot of the time what you're going to see in this situation is the new candle is just going to pop straight down without the upper wick. But a lot of the time it will eventually pull back up to create it. It's just whether or not you get enough profit on the table to secure prior to it. So that's why I have the rule, the very strict rule. Prior to any entry, I want to see a candle form the wick in the opposite direction to the entry. So in this case, this is now looking better. If this candle broke its own low, then perhaps you could look at a very counter trend entry on gold based off the 5-minute. But I'm not going to take this. I already took the buy, so I'm just patiently waiting. Your stop loss would really have to be above the 15. You'd be in, and you'd be in a few pip profit at the minute. So let's see if it would work. Lancashire sunny today. Assuming that's somewhere in the UK. How did JJ close? So we're still at the resistance. Yeah, so gold looking pretty good if anyone is taking it based off the 5-minute. Eco Cara made 730 lot size $1 from nice one, lot size 1 from 350 to 60. Good work. I made a decent amount from the earlier move as well, so hi mate, how are you?
I'm okay, thank you. How about you?
Yeah, all good, brother. What's the deal today?
Yeah, I sent a chart to the Discord on GU, pretty easy. So there are for me 2 zones, and from that I'm looking for. I'm a little bit more bearish than bullish.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you got
go further down.
below the support looks pretty good.
Yeah.
Almost tapping in, just there. Look, how's the weekly is forming pretty strong bearish, but still has the high low high high. It would not surprise me if this thing actually flipped. Strong closure on the previous daily. At some previous resistance to the left a long wick into the range below, but failed to close below, close back above. Current dailies create a wick into that level and he's respecting it. I'd be marking the high of the day. 4-hour arc in there. Arc that in as resistance and just see what it looks like in a minor time frame. So below it looks good, and above it looks good at this stage. On sort of 30. All right, so this is the highest point of 15. We'll keep that in. Is this a bullish? Yep. So lowest point of bullish candle at these lows as well. So I could just adjust that. Yeah, pretty much the same thing. I'd be looking for basically sells below that support. Sells below that support, buys above the resistance, sells if it rejects.
There was a sell-off yesterday, I don't know why. So you see the strong down move.
Yep.
Yesterday. I don't know that there was not really news there.
No, that was before the news actually, wasn't it?
Yeah, correct. So,
Yeah, I'm not
I don't know.
too sure what that was about. Did it happen across the board, the majors? EU, not really, a little bit, not really. AU, not really as well. It's something of the pound at that point, by the looks of it. It's a gold, the 5-minute rejecting here. Yeah, so I wouldn't want to be in it anymore.
So he was already successful with the gold buys.
Yeah, nice easy buy just based on the rules. Yeah.
Yeah, very good.
The break and closure above the resistance here. Initially, that's where the zone was. You had to tap into it. You had a weak bearish closure, bit of a low wick on the following candle, and it took the earlier entries broke the bearish candle high as opposed to the M30 high. So it's a nice win. Moved very quickly.
Perfect.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a nice win. Nice start to proceedings. So
very good.
Thank you. See what's in store for the rest of the day. How did German 40? Wow, look at that. So now it's popping up. All right, you got the 5-minute closure above. All right, so that's the confirmation you needed. Is there any sort of retest within this candle though? We may even go down to the 1 minute here. You've had a closure above retest on the 1 minute, and then you're breaking back above. Not sure that is the best confirmation. Would have really wanted to hover above. So that's why I probably would have preferred to have seen a 5-minute closure, 5-minute tap in minimum. But interesting to see. As soon as you got the closure above, as I mentioned earlier, that's what I'd be waiting for. Some sort of closure above. And it's likely going to make the move. That's what it has done. Wow, pushing.
I was looking more for some sells on the DEX.
Yeah, so was I below the support.
So yeah, that's remarked there at the end. So but right now I wanted to have at least an 50 candle to close up this area.
Yeah, I think it could have pushed a bit farther.
Because the issue is what DAX is doing is more times they are spiking up and leaving a long wick.
Yeah.
Maybe
just like that candle.
Also to the upper side there. So and you need to be very careful with that.
Yeah, for sure. Very volatile. You want to wait for confirmation of closures here. Wow, look at that.
Yeah, at least I think at least on the M50.
Yeah, I need it. If I was to consider a buy on DAX, I need to wait for a pause now above this resistance. Similar to gold, the gold buys from earlier. I'd want to see that weak bearish pause above the resistance, and then I would consider it. But otherwise, I think it's just one of those ones where it's made the move, and it is what it is.
Yeah, but maybe as you mentioned, so maybe you need to wait to create some resistance and support, and take in some buys again, or maybe also take some sells where they are creating some resistance and support, and maybe go to the downside. So yeah, but right now you need to be patient on that.
Yep, agreed. We'll keep a bit of an eye on it. Is NAS also moving? Not really. That's why I don't want to trade it this time of day. Joseph on gold, yep. Are you waiting for trend, Dad? Well, on gold, I already took gold buy from here, so now I'm just waiting for it to reset. For me, it's not close to resetting at the minute. The only time it would have reset is either if it pulls back to form support pretty much at the same level we came from, or closes above the resistance here. Because otherwise we're right in the middle right now. We've got this wick now to worry about, which price did reject last time. It is a 4-hour level that we're currently at. So if it rejects, it could reject at any point within it as well. So I don't really want to trade into the wick. So therefore my options are going to be either above the resistance or back at support here. Yeah, that was a really nice win to be into. Jason Smith, continue buying. Satan, nothing in a minute. Took a buy earlier from this point. So already secured the bag on that one. That was a really nice move. Now I'm just waiting again. MA, g'day to you. Do you see some bullish movement? I definitely see bullish movement. Now I just need to wait for it to reset. It's forming a very strong bullish weekly candle. Still believe gold is very, very, very bullish, irrespective of what any of the minor time frames might suggest, and even they're quite bullish, to be honest. 30 could argue is technically bearish. 7 Mood, thank you by the way for that sticker. You guys on TikTok, at some point you're gonna have to jump across to YouTube. At some point you're gonna have to sub on YouTube and watch me on YouTube, because when I'm away, I don't think I can broadcast live on TikTok. Not this way anyway. Might jump on occasionally for a live call, just to chat, talk about the markets and that. 7 Moon, thank you again, appreciate it. But I don't think I can show the screen of that. Last time I had all sorts of problems, kept getting banned to the point I lost my account, so I don't want to have the same issue. To the grey profile pick, what's your view on silver? I am a massive fan of it. I am a stacker of it. I buy nearly weekly, pretty much weekly. Sometimes a lot more than what I should be buying, but still. I have enormous conviction in the future of silver and where price could eventually be moving forward. If you're asking me about what it looks like now, I would say it's also quite bullish. You've just had this big breakout a couple of weeks back. Weekly is very bullish. You're breaking high the previous counter here. Daily structure is also very bullish. Counter probabilities being to the upside as well. You're breaking some resistance at the moment. The 4 hour is also bullish in structure. So it's going to be bullish across the board. You're at a bit of a resistance. Above it, if you break it, we're likely going to retest the most recent highs, which, you know, prior to that, price has not been at that level for about 11 years or so. So to me, it's lagged gold for the past few years. It has moved up quite significantly nonetheless. It's moved up just a few percent less than gold for the most part, but it's starting to take over from gold. Of late, it's moved a lot more than gold has. As far as support, we've got this point here. So it all comes down to the current level. Above it, I'd be looking for buys. Seeing it's come from these lows and straight from the lows of the Asian session, pretty much from the low of the day, I would not be looking for continuation buys. I'd want to see sellers jump in at this point at the resistance, trigger in some sellers, make maybe a little bit of a pullback or at least a bearish counter closure, and I want price to pop back above the resistance, and then I would consider the buys above at that point. Without it, what I'd rather do is just let it do its thing and wait for proper pullback. So if it is to continue bullish and burst straight through, I'd be waiting for it to pull back, create the high low, and then look for some buy options moving forward. Otherwise, if it does pull back, still going to be bullish as long as it remains above this point here. I'd be looking for buys above 36,350, and for the sells, let it confirm a structure flip, pull back, retest, and then maybe sell it. But for me, silver is a once in a lifetime opportunity. Unfortunately, against my lagging Aussie dollar. It's up at all-time highs, and it's been up at all-time highs for pretty much the whole week, for the last few months anyway. But it has not put me off buying it on the regular. Silver is both an industrial and monetary metal, so it has dual purpose. I'm a massive fan of it. Deco, buy or sell. Waiting for price to reset. We already took some buys from these lows. Now just waiting. Not really interested in selling it, guys, but if you are, again, looking for any sells, you need an engulfing bearish 15 here. Quickly look at GJ again. So it's closed above, no upper wick. Nice volume though, that's for sure. 740. Alright, it's closed below that resistance. So this is the level now. Because above it, we've got clean traffic. We want price to remain above it. We've rejected it so far. As far as the sells, it's still the same entry point for me. 23,823 roughly. We'll open the gap down at the open of the UN15. So move buy. Now you in buy. What, on gold? No, I was in a buy from here. In a buy from here. Secured at 50.55 in the end. Secured in between though, but the final partial I secured at 55. Again, did call out in my members group. Trade ideas section. Now just waiting. Anthony Silver buy. No, like I mentioned before, it's a bit overrun just now. I'd be waiting for it. So you're triggering some sells in a 15. Yeah, I still want a decent pullback because the M30's just come from literally the daily low. So maybe a 30-minute candle closing back bearish, and then a closure back above, and that's when I would trust the continuation buys on it. Personally, I would avoid the counter trend sell after such a strong move to the upside. But again, if you want to take counter trend sells, what I'd be doing is waiting for a closure below. Excuse me. Closure below this point here. 36.7455. Chart law, draining the swamp. What time frame? This is the 15 on gold. Chart law, draining the swamp. Entry signal. There is none at the minute. My entry signal earlier was here. Closure above resistance. Was looking for buy, called the potential buyers earlier, but I didn't take it, and I told my guys I'm not taking it because I had no lower wick. Eventually popped back down to just create a small lower wick. Rejected, we tapped into the resistance here and closed back a weak bearish candle only to reject, closing above the resistance. That to me is what prices reset at that point. As long as we have a low wick on the following candle, if we were to break that minor pause candle above the previous resistance, there's a high probability with the clean traffic to the left that we're going to make a nice move up, and that's exactly what we did. So I don't yet have another signal to take an entry. Hey, FX trader, something just feels off about these buys. So much liquidity accumulating at lows. Yeah, I don't know. Not to me. Structurally, it looks really good. Technically, it looks really good. Not sure why it pumped at that particular time of day though. It was quite unusual, quite early. Obviously, earlier today in the Asian session, very early. Before the actual Asian Open, more around the Sydney Open, we had a nice move as well. So downside. To me, silver looks a little bit more sus, because that's just literally ripped without any really strong catalyst prior to it, in my opinion. I would not have bought it off the back of this closure, because that does not suggest to me there's any momentum at all. I'm talking about this particular weak bullish candle. It's below resistance as well. So silver, on the other hand, if you said that, I would agree. Just something funny about it. It's just ripped from nowhere. Not sure if it's market manipulation or what it is. No idea. But gold to me actually looked technically really good. Carl, all good, mate. Can't afford to lose anyone on YouTube. It's down to like 1 viewer soon. Sketchmas, hello to you, mate. Let's get it. Yeah. So GJ, no upper wick and it's struggling. That's why I don't take trades without it. Prior to an entry, if I'm looking to buy it from above this resistance, I want that candle to minimum have something like that, a bit of an upper wick, because often what is followed by candles that don't have any wick is something similar to what you have here, this bearish candle. It tends to reject and reject quite strongly. Here, not much of an upper wick, basically none, price rejected. If you look through it, you'll see it quite regularly. Nat, can I buy now? I would not be buying now. GWDP 29. Personally no. I'm sticking to the buy bias at this stage. What I would look for if I was to consider a sell, seeing we are at a 4-hour resistance, I wanted to start pulling back below its own current candles low on a 4-hour. You form some minor support there on a 15. So you really need a strong closure below that point to now consider any shorts, in my personal opinion. Aside from that, still only looking for the buys if that was to be the case, if we were to respect that level. Chris, more into you. Hope you're well, mate. Henrik, not just yet, no. Look at that, GJ rejecting. Let's have a look at DAX just quickly. Struggling at the current level. Geo, my daily bias. Well, on gold, no, it's not. Daily bias is still bullish, to be honest. But seeing the level we're currently at, it will make more sense to possibly look for a sell than a buy, because I wouldn't want to buy it into the wick at the moment, the 4-hour wick here to the left. It is resistance on the 4-hour. Plus, you're buying it in the top third of the 4-hour range. There's not much margin left to the upside. I'd rather buy it at a bit of a discount from a pullback or at a premium above the high. That advises me when I can enter. I'll let you guys know if I feel there's a quality entry on to the downside, but at the minute there's nothing. So let's see London Open, what market does. Yeah, still got some 20 minutes until London Open. Good morning to you, Jamie. Hope you're all. Feels like gold has not moved for the past 5 minutes. It's just been stuck right at the current level. Thank you to the new followers, TikTok. Make sure to follow if you're not already done so. Joseph, hopefully London session open. Good close passing phase 1 on my front. Nice one. The mills today will be sell or buy. Well, already taken a buy from this point here, but considering where we're currently at, I would prefer a sell over a buy. So we'll see. It's making a bit of a move just now. There's definitely no impulse entry here. Absolutely not. 4 hours starting to pop back below the resistance here to the left. It's broken its own low. It's breaking the support. You really need that strong confirmation though here, with the catalyst being the bearish engulfing. Chris, yeah, really nice buy. So far the best trade of the new month. Where's the low of the current candle? Continues to create lower low. 33, 56, 73, but it's gonna continue to push by the looks of things. 2 and a bit minutes remaining for the M15. Let's see where it closes. Chris, appreciate it, mate. YouTube. Jean Dre. No, I'm butchering that name. I'm hoping for midnight. Gold's looking pretty good for some potential sells. So you want this candle to close strong. We don't want to pop back up now and close. Preferably we want to close below, or right at the low of that bullish candle. Don't want to pop up too far just now. So it's looking okay. Let's quickly look at the 5 as well. 5 minutes forming a bit of structure to the downside here. It definitely needs an upper wick on the new candle. This candle needs to leave a lower wick as well. So let's see, is it going to leave a lower wick? It has. The new candle needs a bit of an upper wick prior to any entry. Creating a little bit of an upper wick. Would prefer a little more. Alright, right, it's starting to look a little bit better. All right, so you could look for some counter trend sells here if you want. I've not entered in just yet. I've got an entry at 48. So that's what I'm currently looking at. So it's going to be counter trend at the minute. But I think that's a pretty good confirmation there. You got a bearish engulfing candle. Thing is, I want it to be triggered in quite quickly. I don't want to come down to the last minute of London, pre-London. So I want it to happen quite quickly. If it comes down to the last maybe 5 minutes or so, I'll probably just remove the order and wait for London open. Which platform and time frame? Elvit. This is Trading View to chart up for the screen, for the stream. Sorry, it's a lot easier to chart on to draw zones and that. MetaTrader 5 is what I use to execute. Redman below the current candle's low. What's the low of the current candle actually? 66. So it should be. Yeah, 48's okay. And even if this closes weak bullish, that's fine. That would just give me another signal on top of the 30-minute, what will be a strong 30-minute bearish candle closure.
So German 40 would be play out good, does it?
Oh, okay. Let's continue.
If you look on the M30.
Yeah, just no lower wick though.
Yeah, for me this is I'm counting this as a lower wick.
The gap down.
Correct.
Yep, fair enough. Abel, Sev. Yes, this is gold. Actually, how far is the 30-minute move already? It's a fair move on the 30, to be honest. You know what? Seeing it's counter trend, I'm going to wait for the 15. I'm going to wait for London Open. Just got something, intuition is telling me just to wait for the London Open here. So that's what I'm going to do, because the 30's already made a decent move within itself as well. So I'm personally going to wait a little bit more patient with it. The 30-minute, what I'm seeing here is the 30-minute, the entry on the 30, you probably would have had to have taken a little bit earlier. 30's already pushed 40 pips within itself, so you're relying on it to make the rest of the move, which it can do. But I'd feel a little bit more comfortable waiting for another pause here on the 15 and another strong signal to reset. So that's what I'm personally going to do. I'm going to wait for London Open and see if this closes weak bullish, then I'll look for the exact same sort of entry. You want to be comfortable in your trade. To me, that's a solid signal, the 15-minute bearish engulfing, but we still don't have a 30-minute confirmation of resistance just yet. So I'll have a double catalyst here. I'll have the 30-minute closing bearish, strong bearish, possibly engulfing, and within it I'll have a minor pause on the 15. So that is the play I'm going to be looking for. And if it goes just now, then so be it. All good. I've already taken it by earlier, so I'm just going to wait. That's my opinion of play at the minute. G, wait, yep, I'm waiting as well. London is always tricky. Yeah, it can be. DE40 dollar Swiss. I think a lot of high impact is about $4 Swiss, isn't it? They're not, I'm pretty sure. It's at support at the minute. Wow, that thing is absolutely dying. This is probably one of the biggest downtrends you'll ever see. So it's going to be bearish across the board without even needing to look at the actual structure itself. Daily close to weak bullish candle, so below previous daily candles low, could be some sell options. 4 hour might suggest otherwise. There is support. Mark that in. Mark that in as resistance. What's to the left? No idea. Probably don't have to that nut. But whilst it's in a downtrend, the trend is your friend until the end. So you can see it still continuing to downside below the low. So that could be a potential entry point for some further sell options. Let's have a look at it on the 30 here. And you could argue it's technically bullish the way I look at things. It is, but irrespective, still definitely the bias is to the downside. So what I'd be looking for is buys above this point here. We've literally tapped back into it. It's been the start of the day, the high of the day. We've tapped back into that level, forming resistance at it. So if we were to continue bearish, no need to pop back above that point. That's where I'd be looking for some buys to take it back up to the 4 hour resistance. And otherwise, sells are going to be difficult because you're selling into 4 hour support. I'd rather just look for a pullback to sell it. Personally, that's what I'd be looking at, because below this line of support, you've got what it looks like about 7-8 pips to that line of support. And then you're just running into all these wicks to the left. So I would, and which is the 4 hour support. So I'd avoid the sells below that level and I'd just wait for a pullback, or sells below the 4 hour resistance. That's pretty much it. Back to the gold. So looks like could be forming some support again. Andy McIntosh, what is your setup you look for, bro? Many different types, to be honest. It's all based on price action. I have price action catalyst. To me, that is one, the bearish engulfing, but considering the 30-minute, we have not formed resistance yet, no confirmation. After what had been a pretty strong move to the upside, momentum was bullish to the upside. So for me, the catalyst would be a weak pause here on the 15, closing preferably back below that bullish candle's low, but bullish in itself, creating that minor pause, minor support. And that would be a price action catalyst to sell off the back of the 30-minute closing bearish. Within it, the 15-minute minor support, breaking the minor support, it's likely heading back down to the level it came from. So it's based off simple price action. Determine a bit of a bias, but I'm not so fixated by it. I look to higher time frames for some more clearer direction. But yeah, there's different. I have different entry types as well, so you pick up a lot just by tuning in on the regular. Trading market, GJ buyers. No, I like this. I really like the fact that it's now rejecting, because I would trust it more now if it popped back above 100%. Seeing we're triggered in some sellers finally. We wipe those sellers out, clean traffic to the left. Prior to it was you're creating some steady high lows. It's technically bearish until back above this point, in my personal opinion. But what we are doing is creating some steady row line of high lows and even higher highs just here. So triggering sellers, wipe those sellers out, and it's likely going to continue bullish to create yet another impulse to the upside. And that's where I would consider a buy opportunity if that was to present. German 40. A lot of volume. Yeah, so irrespective, even if he kept the sell stop in, shouldn't have been triggering in. Didn't really get that close to triggering in either way. We could be engulfing now, but the issue is we're running into that wick, so to me it's not the best area to be buying it from. You're buying it the top third of the range, you're buying it really in a 4-hour resistance as well. So I'd rather wait till price clears that level 33, 65, 70, and it's a lot cleaner above it. LA dollar index. I'll have a look at it in a moment. Dylan, gold just left. Yep. Yeah, still down. I mean, it bounced yesterday, assuming that was around the news. But it is making its way back down towards the weekly low by the looks of things. Whoops. Yeah, so off the back of the current weekly candle, forming quite strong bearish, creating lower high, lower low to the previous, and the momentum being to the downside. Still has some margin to the downside in higher time frame. The back of that, what I would look for if this was gold or whatever, is levels within this candle for price to, upon the pullback, look to see if we respect it, head back down, create lower low, or break through support and head back down to potentially create a lower low. So let's see what's it doing now. Alright, so it's creating pullbacks. It's sort of pulled back into the middle of nowhere here and rejected. Does line up with some previous support though to the left. But to me, I'd be, yeah, more inclined to think that it will end the week quite a strong bearish candle at this rate. What might suggest otherwise is if the most recent resistance is broken and price pops above it, heads it back up, we got some clean traffic to the left, then there's a good chance it could actually come back up to the 97 sort of region. So we just need to continue to respect previous levels, and then it's likely going to close a strong bearish candle. So therefore, that will mean the majors are going to continue bullish. Gold will likely continue bullish. But gold does its own thing of late. Silver, this is better. This is exactly what I said before, what I want to see prior to any buys above this level. Seeing it's come from literally the daily low. Want to see at least a 30-minute bearish candle, triggering some sellers, a bit of a pullback on the M15. And now if we wipe those sellers out and start to pop back above the resistance, I would definitely consider it if I was trading it. 100%, that would be a quality entry for me to the upside. Alright, so it's not going to be any gold sells. And to me, there's no buyers because there's no point. It's just too far up. Right now, in the top third of the range, so there's nothing for the buyers as well. But been a good start to the day. Nice win from down here. Now I'm just waiting for it to reset. Let's have a look at German 40 yet again. Let's have a look at the 5-minute here. Wonder if I've got it. Hold on. I reckon I have a signal on the 5-minute, but I'm not prepared to take it with London Open upon us just now. But the 5 minutes forming some nice structure. It's creating higher lows, higher highs. We are trending bullish. We've got a nice strong move push here on the hourly time frame as well. Obviously quite evident on the 30. So off the back of that, German 40, I know I would have a valid entry here. You'd have to have a wider stop, but I'm not going to, personally, I'm not taking it. I'm looking at it more for the time being than taking it live because I've just started looking at it again properly. But your stop would have to be back below. The entry would be back above the hourly high. Open with a big gap down. So you should not be entered until it breaks the high. Has to break the high. And if it pops into the range below, I would not be looking to buy it at all. I cancel that order 100%. Gold continuing bullish for the time being, so there's nothing there. How did GJ close? Yeah, this is good. This is better on GJ. Nice tap in on German 40. Maybe a potential limit order would have done the job. Yeah, so the way I'd be looking at it is if it starts to pop below this blue zone and he closed below it in the 5 minute, I would that would, to me, it would invalidate any buy option for the time being. Geo very bullish. RCO gold. EU. Where is it? This has been a very, very strong uptrend. Obviously the weekly is forming a strong bullish candle. Daily, bit of rejection on the previous daily candle, but did leave a long lower wick. That suggests maybe it's grabbed liquidity from the downside in order to continue bullish. Looks like we may have just broken the previous daily high. Literally by 1 point, it's broken it. So you do have a high, low, higher, high here. Therefore, not much need to pull back and break its own low. Let's see what we've got below that level. Let's see what we've got above the high. And we know it's in a very strong uptrend. As far as above the high, you got 4-hour resistance here. So it is at a strong level, potential rejection. Don't yet have support confirmed, but we did reject on the previous candle. Go down to the 30. I'd be more focused on the slightly higher time frame for the majors. Is there any no, there's no clean space at all within that zone, so I'd be marking this level of support. I'd actually mark in that, and that is just below the daily low, the low of the support. I'd be looking for sales below it. We've since recently just bounced off the low of the day, so perhaps we'll just grab liquidity from the downside. However, if that was to be the case, then there is no need to pop back down to the daily low. And if we did do so, close below, retest, I feel there's a high probability price could continue to that bearish. So below 117.853, I'd be looking for sales. And as far as buys, there is really no margin to the upside just now. I'd rather just wait and see how price reacts to the 4-hour resistance. And once again, look for a potential sell, or let it create the clean move up, pull back, form support, and then buy it. Again, it's just where it's at. It is bullish. It's in a big, strong uptrend. But the level it's at, it would not make any sense for me to buy it into that level. So I'd rather buy it upon the pullback, or as it clears that level. That's a fair way off at the moment. German 40 looking like it may make the move. Yeah, gold could reject. Trying to reject it in a minute. GJ buys may be valid shortly, but not just yet. Let's have a look at silver. What did that end up doing? So closed above the minor support, formed just below resistance. So absolutely perfect at the minute for in regards to the buyers. If it is to now pop back above, that would be a cracking entry in my personal opinion. Oh, what I just do? Uh-oh. TikTok. I don't know what I just did. Apologies. Let me just quickly fix this. This is all over the shop. Oh man, what do I do? Why can I not adjust that? Apologies guys, just trying to sort this out. I don't know what the hell I've done. Alright, I think it's slowly fixed. Oh man. If I get it banned on TikTok, I've just lost my disclaimers. I don't know where the hell my disclaimers gone. Sorry guys, it's just press something and I don't know what I've done. Apologies guys, let me just quickly fix this. All right, I think I've fixed that issue for the time being. Apologies. All right, what have I missed? Nothing on the charts anyway. Charts are still pretty ornery. GJ trying to make a bit of a move here. I'd be weighing minimum 15. German 40 still wouldn't be triggered in, and again, if it closes below that blue zone, I would not be looking to buy it. I'd be waiting for it to reset, waiting for now closure above if that was to be the case. As long as it remains above the low of that blue zone, I still feel it's valid. If it begins to break the high, but as soon as it starts to close below, I would definitely not be considering it anymore. Jerry might take shorts on what gold, lose money and sells. Go print, you're selling, okay. Beyond, do you have a Spotify playlist that you're playing? No, this is the free audio section of YouTube. I used to have all sorts of issues with YouTube, and I used to always get strikes, but nothing major, but demonetized for that particular stream because I play something copy that had a copyright to it, which I didn't realize. But yeah, I've since discovered there's a free library there. But man, any trades got £300 left for my funding? But just continue to do what you've been doing, mate, because obviously working. I'm not gonna just for the sake of it say, yeah, take this if it's not there. Jamie on GJ waiting for close to current 15 lower weeks form. That is minimum, yeah. Definitely, that's the minimum. But again, I'm off GJ. I'm completely off it, to be honest. Easy as selling shorts? No, not yet. Peppy, thank you for sharing a live. Appreciate it. No, it's not financial advice. It's definitely not financial advice. Man, Hunter, my view now, German 40, what's it doing? Yeah, I'd definitely not consider the buys anymore. It'd be now invalid. In regards to selling it, I look at thinking, well, that's the move just there. So you're getting in quite late. I wouldn't have trusted it there because the fact that it broke above and closed above a resistance, I would want to see how price reacted to it to see if it bounced off for potential buys. But now it's made a move back into the range below. I wouldn't be selling it below this candle's low. I'd rather wait and see how price reacts to the support, or see if it does respect it. And if in fact this closes weak bearish, then the buys could still be potentially back on the table, because what that would suggest to me, this current pullback, is that we've potentially grabbed some liquidity from the range below. We've pretty much tapped right into that resistance. So far rejecting. If we were to close weak bearish back above, then the buy stops would be actually back on the table. Bit of a lower wick on the new candle, and then you could possibly look for continuation buys above the high. Sake, gold has to go up, right? It doesn't have to, it can do whatever it wants to do. GBP, it's quite bullish though. What, gold or? Peppy, so you're an advisor? I'm no advisor. I do have an educational group, but I'm not qualified or trained. I fully admit that, I never said I am. But I teach you guys what works for me. No, I don't consider this financial advice, not at all. Gold? Yeah, so I'm still more bullish on it, but the fact that it's at a 4-hour resistance and it is struggling, it's rejecting at the minute. So I think we're closer to potential sells than what we would be buys, to be honest. Joseph, 5-minute pushing out. Yep, the 5-minute structure though has technically flipped. It's actually still bullish, to be honest, from this point. But if it starts to pop below support, there's, again, in my opinion, more scope for it to head back down to the actual support where price originally came from. But I would like closures below the 15s, close just above. To me, again, there's just not a strong enough catalyst to take a counter trend entry at the minute. You've got the same sort of scenarios what I mentioned before, which why I was not comfortable looking for gold sellers on this previous candle. If you guys remember, 30 had pushed quite a distance just to get to the point where you could potentially consider an entry. Same thing here, 60 odd pips. So then you're relying on the remaining 14 minutes here to make the move for you. And it doesn't mean it can't do it, but would I feel comfortable in that, knowing it's already pushed 60, 5 pips roughly? Personally not. So I would just wait. Again, you want to be as comfortable as you possibly can. So you want to make sure you've ticked off as many confluences as you possibly can. And for me right now, we're just consolidating at the 4-hour resistance in what is a very strong uptrend against, well, not against, sorry, in line with a very strong weekly candle. So if I'm to look for any counter trend sells, I want it to be absolutely perfect. And there's no need to force it. I've already taken a buy from this point earlier, so just chill in regards to the sells. Let's have a look at German 40. So it did close back in the blue zone. So for me, nothing to the downside. And if there is to be anything to the upside, very simply, what I'd be looking for is a nice strong closure back above now. Back above, preferably engulfing the high of the bearish candle, but if nothing else, has to definitely engulf the body. Let's have a look at GJ. How did that close? Oh wow, closed above, but no lower wick. Yeah, I wouldn't be in this. Yeah, I'm just trading line probabilities. I know that there's a high probability the candle's going to pull back to create a lower wick. So if I was to take it just based off the closure of this candle, and as this candle broke the high, then there's a good chance I'm going to have to sit through drawdown as it creates a lower wick. So I'd rather spare myself the drawdown. And had it not pushed so far, I would have considered buying it back above the high, but it's pushed a fair distance. So in this case, I would not really consider it. I would now just wait for a 30-minute closure, where you could also look for a potential interruption play here. You've got impulse, then you've got pause, and now what you potentially what we're potentially creating here is an engulfing candle closing significantly above this pause candle. So off the back of that, that's just the momentum is still to the upside, and you could potentially look for a limit order buy at the high of that bearish candle if you stop loss back below the bearish candle's low. But it will need to close about 8 pips roughly above, 6 to 8 pips above the high of this bearish candle. Pepe, so should I have advice financially from this? I have no idea what you're on about, my friend, to be honest. It makes absolutely no sense what you're saying. So I don't know, think of it whatever you want to think of it as, to be honest. I've told you already about 10 times, it's for educational purposes. I'm trading the way I trade for myself. I'm helping you guys out. You can take whatever you want from it. You can make of it what you will. If you can learn a thing or two about it, what I do, fantastic. If not, I couldn't care less. I'm just trading for myself. I'm doing it live. It's up to you. You make of it what you will. I couldn't care less what you think of it. It would if it doesn't do another higher high, lower high, it's a sell. Yeah, it's a bit tricky at the moment. But again, it's just consolidating. Joseph took a sell on that 5-minute. Nice one. Yep, nice one. Irrespective of what I think of it, because to me it wasn't an entry, but you've reacted to your plan and well done. Happy to hear it. SEO, will the price go back to 3,300? Anything could happen. Again, I'm not predicting. I'm just going to react to what I see happening at levels I determine as tradable levels, but that's about it. Personal prediction is gold will eventually one day be at 5k, maybe up to 10k plus at some point. When? No idea. Could be the turn of the decade. I have no idea. Sort of question mark. You find you can build a group better with TikTok lives? As in more people join a group? Probably. Well, I don't really have many people watching me on YouTube, so it must be coming from TikTok. That's what I'm assuming. YouTube? No one likes me on YouTube. I don't know what it is. Edward, appreciate it. Billie Jean is like, could you explain how lot size applies to pips? How lot size applies to pips? I think what you're probably asking is how do you determine your risk and what lot size you should be using and that type of thing. Because it all depends on what currency pairs you're trading, obviously, because that's how they will to determine the value of a pip is just depending on the currency. But what I would suggest is sticking to a planned risk per trade. So again, 1-2%. I use dynamic risk. Mine will change because I use for the most part fixed lot sizes. Wow, German 40 is melting. Lots of volume on this thing. Jero could go bullish, so liquidity. Yeah, potentially. It's a difficult level because I wouldn't really want to buy from the current level because you're just buying into 4-hour resistance. So I'd rather buy it above it or upon the pullback. But nor do I really have a strong enough confirmation to sell it because the 30 again is still open. We've still got 6 and a bit minutes left, and it's had to push such a distance just to get to a point of entry that I'm doubting that it can continue to make the move. Doesn't mean it can't make the move, but once again, I'm not comfortable trying to sell it at the minute, so I'd rather just wait and see how the 30 closes, and then I would need definitely an upper wick on the new candle. So I still want the 30 to close bearish engulfing here, and then we would have yet again a pretty strong sell catalyst. A little X-Baby going long. No, I've already taken a long from here earlier today. Diniz. See? Look, at the moment there's nothing, but if we close bearish engulfing the M30, I would consider a sell. But we are in an uptrend, so it has to be perfect. Therefore, the rule is bearish engulfing. G buys for GJ if we close bullish, respecting fair value gap. Don't trade fair value gaps. But if we close weak bearish on the 15, leaving a long upper wick though, that's a little bit off-putting. Yeah, if it closes weak bearish, there could possibly still be buys off the back of the 30 closing strong bullish, high low, high high as it begins to break. But ideally, I want this to close about 6 to 8 pips above and then maybe look for a limit order buy at the high of that bearish counter. Sorry, YouTube. I'm just don't even expect anyone to mention to chat on YouTube these days, to be honest. All good, Jack. Hope you're well. Looking for similar on GC, the bearish engulfing. Yeah, very similar. You've just got a little bit of a longer wait here. Paul, thoughts on GU? We had a look at it before. Franco sent in a chart. Looking good for some potential buys in just over 4 minutes if it closes above. Has there been any sort of exhaustion though? Not a great deal. You have had in between, halfway in the range between a 30-minute support and the 4-hour resistance. So you really want to see a strong closure above. The 15's got no low wick, so there is still that possibility it could reject. but I would definitely preference a strong closure above, then wait for the following channel to do as this arrow suggests, tap in, and then potentially buy stop above the high. Sketchmas, I know you guys do, a few of you. It's just frustrating when there's hardly anyone on that stream. It would if the price lose value, don't run after. Exactly, 100%. It's something I'm strong with, is my discipline. And not giving into FOMO. Joseph, yeah, NFP today. Because tomorrow is a bank holiday in the US. I wish there was one here as well, but it's unfortunately not. The US seems to have a lot of bank holidays. Alright, let's see if the 30 closes bearish engulfing. Then it'll all come down to the upper wick on the following candle. Just make sure I am actually on gold here. Alright, looks like it's trying to make the move just now. Them's the breaks. Making a move. All good. The last couple minutes of the M30. Definitely not for me. All good. Let's just see if we're still going to have the margin to downside. We've still got 30 pips, but it could continue bearish just now. Can't really create much of a low. It's needing more out of the margin. So we're still possibly got some chances here to sell gold, but we need to patiently wait for this candle to close. Wow, now it's popping. All right. So that was the move. Not much I can do about that. Again, I feel more comfortable waiting because the way 30-minute had approached that point, I mean, had to come from a fair distance just to break the low of that candle. But since made the move, so that's all right. All good. No FOMO. There's no such thing as FOMO on this stream.
Yeah, at the end, Justin, we are talking about 2 or 3 minutes.
Yep. Exactly.
Would wait a little bit more. So, and this maybe the other time it will not go further. So, and then we will get maybe the entry.
Yeah, 100%. It's just, it is what it is. Nothing to do about. Not at all concerned, to be honest. But that was the move. There's no entry now for the time being. GJ looking better. GJ's actually looking pretty good at the minute. If this closes basically as is, then you've got a little bit of a pause above previous resistance. The limit order could almost will be valid by the looks of it. But also the pause play. So a doji candle within a range either suggests reversal or continuation. If we were to break the low of that candle, so I'll probably avoid the limit order, to be honest, because of that. Because if we were to break low of this candle, there's a good chance we're going to end up a bearish candle on the current 15. If we, however, break the high of it, there's a high probability we'll continue to the upside. So has it closed 6 to 8 pips above though? Let's just see. Yeah, it's closed about 6.8 pips actually. So based off the 30, then the limit order still would be valid on the interruption play. But you could also look for a continuation. The ex-cameraman, that's, yeah, so just went over it. Joseph, think buy soon on gold. No, see, that was the move. That just makes it tricky to downside. For the buys, it really, I'd rather it make a clean move back down to the previous support, or even lower. Just make a nice clean impulse down to the 4-hour level here and form support back above that point, because then you're playing within cleaner traffic again. If it pulls up here and forms support, to me there really is still no entry until at this point back above the resistance at 33.65.70 roughly. It's just chopping about. It's very indecisive at the minute, and it just so happens to be that that was the best move by far. 100%. I was fortunate enough to get involved in that move, but since that move, it's been rank, really rank.
I'm in a GU buy.
GU?
Sorry, Justin.
No worries. Yep, nice closure above. Have you had the retest on the 5? Well, not quite. That's a slight only concern, but it still does look pretty good. Not quite tapped in just yet, but you're accepting your risk. Yeah, my concern is that it still may pull back and tap in. That's one lesson I learned a few times last month on gold as well. To just wait for that to tap in. Where's your stop loss? Is it back below 15 or 30? Or?
It's below previous and 50.
Okay, so you should be right if it taps in. But we'll have to wait and see. Apple user went short on GJ in anticipation of NFP, so I stayed away from G. Okay, fair enough. It's a fair way off, but I'm assuming you're holding it for a bit of a swing. Joseph, never mind. Emery 399 shorting time goal. Nah. Experiment all good. Apple user stopped out. Oh, okay. Yeah, to me, there was definitely no sell option there. Yeah, gold's is in consolidation a minute. It's really not giving a solid signal at all. In a 5-minute looks the best, but I don't trade it based on the 5-minute. So I can look at it to add confidence, but without any catalyst on the 15 or 30, I would not take it. And at this rate, especially against that 30, which was still a strong bearish candle, was a bearish engulfing, the 15 won't cut it. I need at least a 30-minute candle closing back bullish. And then within it will come down to what's gone on the M15. So for instance, if this first 15-minute closed strong bullish, my catalyst will be, believe it or not, a weak pause. And what that's going to do is going to close the M30, still a strong bullish candle. The M30 will resemble something like this. And within it, we've got a little bit of a pause, so some minor resistance. So therefore, if price was to respect the resistance, there is no need to break it. However, if we did begin to break it in what we are, seeing we are in an uptrend, as long as we create a lower wick, if we've begun to break it, there's a high probability we're going to fill that candle to the left-hand side. So that would be some sort of signal for me. But I'm fully aware it could just pop up and invalidate that move. So that's why at this rate, I'm likely not going to hit another option until back above or upon a deeper pullback. But again, there is no need to force it. I've already had a successful day. I've had a good day, so there's no need for me to just, you know, throw it out by taking something in between a shit trade. Sure, no trade tonight, not forcing. See, yeah, fair enough. Apple user used it with confidence in UJ and G. Oh, okay. Yeah, I can understand why some do that, but for me, that kind of put me off because I used to trade GU and I used to find sometimes GU will go up and I was looking for a sell on GJ and I get put off taking it. And then GJ would have worked, but I didn't take it and you feel shitty. So that's why I gave GU the flick, because GJ to me moves quicker. Current GJ is retesting that high, looking for possible continuation on the M15. Yeah, it looks like it could potentially.
I'm up to 80 pips.
Oh, nice one. So it's flipped. Nice one, man.
Close it at B.
Okay, yep.
I'm not secure right now, so it's hovering a little bit. Maybe it will go up, but maybe what I'm seeing right now is we are pushing in H4 resistance, former support.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, correct. Yeah. And maybe it's better to get out.
Okay, fair enough. Okay, there's still a chance it could create low wick. Jamie, with lack of momentum, I'll take a break, previous counter high, put you off GJ and buys. Not really. I mean, it still seems to have some momentum at the minute. Still quite early. I would have been more put off if it was last 10 minutes of the hourly, last 5 minutes of the hourly. The one thing that puts me off is the length of this upper wick. That's the one thing that puts me off. But otherwise, it does look good based off the 30. So to me, it looks pretty good. Next millionaire, today's payroll bro, go sleep. It's a little bit early to go to sleep, my friend. And if you're telling me not to trade because of that, then you pretty much would never trade, because nearly every day of the week there's high impact US dollar news, which impacts gold. So there's plenty of chances prior to it. I mean, I took a buy from there. So just again, trading the plan, trading with my rules, not giving a shit about what's to come later, because I'm nowhere near that time of day to worry about it. Nor would I trade it either way. Lucas, sell. Yeah, the sells still look better than buys at this rate. It's a bit tricky as well to the downside. Hey bro, hello to you. Some really choppy price action at the minute though. It would need to close very weak bullish for it to reset for a potential sell signal, because that again creates support below support, leaving a long upper wick into the consolidation rejecting, that would be a decent catalyst to look for a sell off the back of that. But otherwise it's just all over the shop, so it does look at this stage a little more likely to come back down to the support, but off the back of what I think it's more likely to happen, I'm still not prepared to take any trade off the back of that. What I need to do is wait for an actual signal, a price action signal, which at this stage I do not have, so I just need to wait. Have no idea how to pronounce that name. I just called you Sade because that's the last few letters. That's the only thing I can read basically off that name. You shape, I think you mean. Trends always shoot up. Ben, that green screen is dope. It would look really funny if you were buying candles. Probably a way to do that actually. Beta, hello to you. Geo A+ setup zone, 100%. To me, that was an A+ setup, so I reacted to it. Within all this, there is no A+ setup, so I'm just chilling. Almost had it, but this chose to make the move in the last 2 minutes off the candle. Thanks, Karen. GJ new high. Yeah, so if you're not in GJ at the minute, you're best to wait for a 15 closure and preference it closing right up near the high of that bearish candle. Can you give a stab at the name? Sade? Sade? Let me know how close I am. Best trader, patient traders, only hunting A setups. Best, you're almost right. I agree, A setups, but what I don't call it hunting. What I do is let the chart come to me. I don't hunt, because if I hunt, that means I'm trying to force a trade, in my opinion. It's just wording. For what I believe I do is wait for the chart to prove to me why I should risk any cash on that particular entry. And even sometimes you're still going to make a mistake and take a stupid trade that you realize after it was more emotionally driven. But for the most part, if you were to wait for the chart to actually come to you and follow your plan, knowing that your edge works for you a certain amount of times out of 10, whereas for me it's roughly 8, sometimes more, sometimes a little bit less, but for the most part it's 80%. Now I know if I just wait, then I'm likely going to be on the end of a winning trade. So as opposed to hunting, I wait. That's what I do. That was good, the way I pronounced it. Nice one. Waiting? Yeah, so I know what you mean, and yeah, you are right. Waiting for it to fall in lap, exactly. Joseph, patience is key, definitely is. And just play to your strengths. I always say to my guys, if there's a certain entry that just doesn't work for you, keep getting stopped out or wrecked, then don't trade it. So for a lot of my guys, it's the breakout trades. So just don't trade it. Wait for a candle closure. Wait for a closure above as opposed to an impulse entry. Things like that. Here, I know what would have given me a decent signal would have been a weak bullish closure here. It's not doing so. Again, it's still a very high probability it's going to make the move down, but I just don't have a signal that I'm comfortable with to sell it off the back of at the minute. But nonetheless, it was a good day. And to be honest, I think I'm going to get going myself. Gonna go have some dinner. Go relax a little bit. I'll catch up with my team a little bit later on for a quick chat, quick call. But yeah, otherwise guys, I'll be on from 30 minutes prior to London Open tomorrow, a little bit of a later start. Again, NFP, so big day tomorrow. It is an NY bank holiday as well, so not expecting all that much tomorrow as well. But anyway, we'll likely be on. We'll see what's going on for London. And in the meantime, guys, don't forget to follow if you're not already doing so on TikTok. And always feel free to send me a message, say g'day. I do respond to any message, but once again, I will never initiate contact with any one of you, YouTube, TikTok, whatever it is. So take care, guys. Trade safe. My team, I'll catch you guys a little bit later on. Have a good one. And to the rest of you, YouTube, TikTok, go well, guys. Till tomorrow. Bye for now.